talk protection magic because I'm seeing some conversations about this online. There's usually two types of people in the protection magic debate. There's the type of people who say we don't need it, it is not foundational, and it's not the first thing a witch should learn. And then there's the other people that say absolutely it is the first thing that any witch should learn. It is a foundational part of witchcraft. The problem is when we're having these debates, we are looking at a 1 to 5 minute video and there's a bunch of nuance missing from the conversation. And then when people are watching those videos, they are just hearing what the practitioner is saying and taking that as their absolute belief system, absolute fact, and that's just the end of it. It's never that way. There's always more to it. I'm always very cautious when talking about protection magic or when people are asking about protection magic, because where the person is coming from as an individual matters when it comes to this conversation. Because if you've got somebody who is coming from a traumatic Christian background, harping on protection magic and emphasizing protection magic can just reinforce some of the beliefs that they had when they were Christian. In certain beliefs and practices, everything is out to get you. There is always some dark entity, some demon, some trickster that is trying to fool you. You always have to be on the defensive. I've said it before on my page, too much protection magic can over-insulate you. All things in witchcraft, it is about balance. I don't want to tell a deconstructing Christian that they have to focus on protection magic and just reinforce the fear that they are trying to deconstruct. It's also important to look at the practitioner who is talking about the protection magic and their type of practice. Like ceremonial traditions, the protection magic is like, it's grounding. It's a foundational grounding exercise. In martial arts, you don't start throwing fists and legs until you've got your stance. But when you're hearing it from somebody who is a more traditional folk practitioner or somebody who works with energy, they're going to talk to you from a more intuitive perspective. Magic is something that kind of happens organically. It's something that you are aware of as you go along in your practice. It develops over time in your relationship with your ancestors and your spirits and the land and the space around you. And a lot of the times, practitioners like that are very tuned in, looking for things that are off, or maybe looking for danger, but not always being defensive against things they don't sense. When maybe somebody who is saying that magic is overhyped, they might just be trying to pull apart like a fear-based system that they're perceiving. And then when you've got somebody who is from a more rigid type of practice, they are saying that it is about discipline and structure, and it's an important part of their practice. I live in America, and I think I look at it this way. I look at the culture of the people who carry. You know what I'm talking about. The people who carry are very prepared for other people who might be carrying in their vicinity. And then you've got other people who don't carry, but they might just always be watching and aware and marking the exits, and they're aware in a different way. The person who carries might be looking for the other person who carries. The person that is aware might be looking for a way to avoid or escape, if that makes sense. Neither are wrong. Both are actually based on protection and survival. They're just different ways of going about it. Another thing to consider when we're talking about protection magic and who is talking about it is that some practices see that all magic is dealing with outside forces or unseen forces, that they may open doorways or portals, and then other practices see it more as drawing magic and energy from yourself, from within. You've got one belief where we are protecting from external forces, and then you've got another belief thinking, why do I need to protect myself from myself? You guys know I've read a bajillion books on witchcraft. I own a bajillion books on witchcraft. Very few of them, if any, begin with protection magic. It's usually somewhere near the middle or the end. And in those books, in those instructional books, it usually will start with things like moon magic, candle magic, healing magic, all the things that are foundational. And protection magic is foundational. Just like you should understand color magic, you should also understand protection magic. It's a part of a well-balanced practice, no matter what kind of magic you practice. Some things require more protection than others. Some types of magic are protective themselves, like glamour magic, for example. When glamour magic is done with intention, it's not about looking better or hiding yourself or disguising yourself. It's not about aesthetics so much as it's about aligning with the energy of who you want to be and what you want to be. Glamour and beauty magic centers your confidence. It changes how people perceive you. And that alone acts like an energetic ward. It's the same thing with healing magic. You shouldn't have to do protection magic before healing magic, because healing yourself and the healing magic is protective. You're restoring your energetic balance in your mind, body, and spirit. You're not inviting something else in. You're not calling in an outside force. And when you can stabilize your own energetic field, when you can stabilize your vibration, you become more balanced. You become less reactive. And that is protective. That is self-preservation. So, do I think that protection magic is overhyped in online spaces? I do. I think that it is inflated more than it needs to be. And what that does is it feeds the fear of others who are watching. Now, I will say, though, that protection magic is foundational, and it doesn't have to be something very complex. It could be something very simple: an iron nail at the door, some brick dust at the window, warding your social media. If all the important parts of witchcraft are a stew, and you are making the stew, you put the meat in, you put the carrots in, you put the peas in, you put the potatoes in, then you got to sprinkle salt on it or it's gonna suck. And that's your protection. You need the salt. You throw in too much salt and you've ruined your stew. So, does this make sense? I don't know. Maybe I should have done a protection before I did this. I don't know. Anyways, hope that helps.